I know I'm jumping around with the human design stuff, but I wanted to share as I'm learning to help people because I find that one of the most amazing things that human design is this great connector system. So it connects into Kundalini yoga, into my rune practice, my Sage practice, as well as into Qigong and energy meridian work, as well as interpersonal dynamics. So I want to talk a little bit about the open sacral. Now, I was actually because I was reading about this in a projector book that I'm studying, and I was putting some pieces together about if you have an open sacral. So that means that if you have an open sacral, you're most likely a manifestor, a reflector, or a projector. Those three aura types do not have a defined sacral. Most likely has an open sacral chakra. And I was explaining to somebody today that the open sacral, it works with the throat. So in Kundalini yoga, the throat chakra and the sacral chakra are intimately connected. And so a lot of times, like if you're having problems with the sacral, you can work on the throat and vice versa. Because of there's like in Kundalini yoga, there are pairs. So certain chakras work with them. And consequently, in Scythe, in the practice of Scythe, the sacral chakra is Vanaheim, which is the seed realm of all elves. And the sacral chakra is Svartalfheim, which is dark elf home. So these are the elves that are of the underworld. And so they rule the land of the dwarves. And in my book, I talk a lot about Svartalfheim. I'm working on a whole book about it. But what's very interesting is healing our connections with Vanaheim and Svartalfheim helps in opening up that channel from the sacred to the throat. Now, what's interesting is if you think about it, the throat chakra is I say I'm going to do the thing of like, ooh, I want to do this. Hey, you want to do this with me? Or hey, you want to give me space to do this? But the sacral is the energy to finish the job. So what ends up happening a lot, if you have an open sacral, when you were a child, you were probably called a dreamer. You were probably called somebody who, so if you're a manifestor, projector, or reflector, you're probably called somebody who had like a lot of unfinished projects, and you were constantly like, ooh, I want to do that. What about this? Or like, I want to try tuba playing. Oh no, I want to try clarinet playing. And if you had generator parents who had a defined sacral, they wouldn't have understood your need to test and try and do a bunch of different things. And so you probably would have been shamed a lot. And this is one of the reasons why I was reading in my book of a lot of projectors try to pretend to be manifesting generators because they want the respect and they want the clout in society. And that's why they end up burning themselves out. And a lot of it has to do with embodied shame. So I realized something recently because I've been journaling about this sacral, open sacral, is that if you are a projector, reflector, or manifestor, and you have either generator friends or even other friends, even if they're projector friends, and they have internalized shame about productivity and hustling and finishing projects, and they're overly critical of you, you are going to get more and more bitter as you hang out with them. Because after all, we have to face the fact that coming out across the planning, those of us with open sacral centers, we are probably going to have to reparent ourselves. At some point in the process, we've got to go back and heal all those childhood wounds. Granted, everybody, in the occult world, doing runes and Scythe, I've learned that it's a part of the initiation process is healing the inner child. That is the first step. But if you want to have a successful life and stop going through the same cycles and the same battles over and over again, you have to heal that inner child. And what that inner child needs is you need a bunch of cheerleaders. You need people who believe in you. And I was talking to a friend today and I said, it's really interesting. Projectors, like, we're really magnetic and we're very specialized and we're often very intelligent. And we know how to put things together that people are like, how did you do that? And so from far away, we look like superhuman. Like, if people, like I was just saying, like if somebody doesn't know me and they just meet me off the street, or if they meet me because they saw me online, they would think that I was like some superhuman person, really put together. But I'm just a regular person like anybody else. And I'm also still in the process of healing my inner child. And if you're watching this and you have an open sacral, you're in the process too. And that means that sometimes you're going to fumble, and sometimes you're going to sit one day and you're like, I want to do 10 things, but I don't know what to pick up. I don't know what to finish. I don't know what to do. And a lot of times your friends who have a lot of internalized shame, they're going to judge you for being mercurial, for being, wishy-washy and changing your mind all the time. But the thing is, that's what you needed as a child. You needed a team of people to support you while you change your mind and figure out how to test that sacral energy out. Because it's like you're testing it's almost like learning how to walk. You have to learn how to feel the sacral, like, oh, my head wants me to do this, but my body wants me to do something else. And you got to learn how to dance with the two. And it takes a lot of trial and error. And the worst thing you could do is be around people who judge you. Because, if you do, what that does is that you internalize that shame into your sacral chakra, and it increases bitterness. So I was thinking about, what could I give people? Like, how do you know who to let close to you? And I think, we all need connection. And so I was writing in my journal about like what I'm going to do for the future. And what I decided was, so we have in Germanic folklore and magic, we have this thing of like inner guard and outer guard, Utengard and Innengard. And inner guard is like our little castle village. And those people who get in there, they get to know you. They get to know who you are and your general workings and your feelings throughout the day. And anyone who is Utengard, they may come in and you can trade with them. They can even come in your castle walls, but they can't stay. So it's like a temporary connection that maybe happens like once a week, once a month, something like that. But it's not somebody that you would see daily. So what you need to do is, if you notice that they're overly critical of the people around them and they're constantly like judging and saying, can you believe so-and-so did this? Or, if you notice that they're gossiping and judging other people for their decisions and their mistakes, those are people you should not let in your Innengard, especially while you're healing your sacral chakra as a manifestor, projector, and a reflector. And I know we love to push ourselves. And I know we love to be like, but I want to be like all the other kids. I want to run and play reindeer games, right? We all want that. But kiddo, if I could speak to you now, it ain't going to do you any good. It ain't going to do you any good to be around judgmental people, especially while you're learning to fly. That sacral chakra of yours is sacred. It can know what your soul wants you to do. A lot of people don't have that connection like we do. And that's why we're superhuman, because we have a direct line to divinity, to the spiritual realm through our sacral chakra. and we know what to do and what not to do. We just have to listen.